Hi friends, welcome back to this channel Poly Classes. In this video I'm going to teach you the targeted study complete in 45 days. Can you complete your studies in 45 days? Yes, you can complete them. I'm going to teach you the method in which you can complete all their subjects in 45 days. This method is very simple. The only thing is that you have to apply this method religiously and then you'll get the results. So how do you work out this method? So friends, I will just quote an example. Suppose you have got 5 subjects. That means you have got 45 days and 5 subjects. So you have got exactly 9 days to complete one subject. Simple? Isn't it simple? So friends, I'm Sanjay Meksa from Poly Classes. I'm a teacher and coach by profession for the past 37 years. And all my students are successful in their careers. If you want to be successful in your career, you should have the education. And if you have to get the education, you have to be successful in your studies. So, the method, complete studies in 45 days. So first thing, you have to assess your capacity. That means, can you work for 5 to 6 hours per day? Minimum. This is the capacity. Even if you don't have the capacity, you have to make this your target. Minimum 5 to 6 hours. If you plan it this way, you can get it. Some of the students may say that they don't have the concentration. Okay. On my channel, Poly Classes, I've given you the methods of concentration. You watch the videos, understand the method, apply one of the methods which you feel you are suitable with, practice it and you'll get it. Your strength, your concentration. You have got exactly 9 days to complete one subject. And you can spare minimum 5 to 6 hours. So I'll just say, if you can spare 5 hours per day into 9 days, that comes to be 45 hours. And you can complete the entire syllabus in this 45 hours. The most important point is you need to plan. The plan is you have got 45 days. So you divide 45 by 5, you get 9 days. For every day, you are going to give 5 hours for your self-study. So you have got 45 hours for your particular subject. Whether the subject is theoretical, whether the subject is mathematical, it does not matter. You have got 45 hours minimum. If you can spare more time, you can have 60 hours or so, or whatever the time you can spare. That depends totally on your capacity. So planning, you have to start. Now 45 hours work you have to do. So what you have to do, you have to divide the entire syllabus of that particular subject into around 15 units, 15 blocks. That means you can do it in different ways. One of the ways is you take your book, find out the number of pages, divide by 15 and you get the amount of work in terms of pages that you have to complete in one block, and that one block will be of 3 hours. So 3 hours you have to complete that block or that module or that session, and you have sorted out. That means this planning will be very, very particular. You implement the planning and you'll get the result. This you have to work out for every subject. That means before you start with the studies, you have got an entire plan. When you plan for one subject, you are going to study that complete subject for the next 9 days. Complete that syllabus and then you start with the second subject. Isn't it simple? I think it is very simple. The next point that you have to implement is periodical analysis. That means apart from this 5 hours of study, 1 hour every day to revise whatever you have completed on that particular day. That means if you have studied a block in 3 hours, whatever you have done, that means whatever you have written down, whatever you have read there, or you have read and written down there, you have to revise in that 1 hour. If you can complete that entire schedule of 3 hours, then revision of 1 hour, then I think you have completed that entire study for that day. You don't have to worry about that topic anymore. You move on to the next topic on the next day and start the procedure for the next block or the next unit or the next module. You have to repeat this for the next 9 days and you are sorted. But you have to work out the schedules. You have to plan out. Friends, in 45 hours, you are going to work out with 15 modules, and those modules can be of 3 hours or maybe 2.5 hours or maybe 4 hours. That depends totally on your capacity, your level of grasping, your level of concentration. You want the results, you do it. The next important point is whatever the formulae. So write down all the formulae with all the proper units. You make a list of all the unit conversions with you on a piece of paper so you can refer to that whenever you are solving the examples. For mathematical subjects, write down the examples, the solved examples, the unsolved examples. You might have got the notes from those notes, what are the examples which have been repeated in the previous exams, you write them down. So when you write them, you're repeating to yourself and you're revising the examples again in that procedure. Very simple method. And the next part in this mathematical subjects is practice. You have to complete the entire study for that module in that 3-hour schedule or the 4-hour schedule or whatever the schedule you have decided, and complete the revision, and then you can feel that you are confident to answer the questions. Next point is you have to understand the procedure. Friends, the procedure is very, very important. I tell this to all my students that procedure is important. If you write down the steps, the procedure is important. So you know what should be done one after the other. That means there is the first step, then the second step, then the third step, then the fourth or the fifth and the sixth and the seventh one. So if you go on writing this everything step by step, the entire procedure is completed. Of course, the procedure and the steps are always coming together. So friends, if you can remember the steps, then you can remember the procedure. And if you can remember the procedure, you can remember the steps. So if you follow the method and remember everything and maybe reproduce everything, you're sorted out. Recall and remember. That means what you have to do is try to check out what you have done, how much you have done. Can you recall that? Just go through the questions and can you recall the answers? That is the method. There is another method, that means you can find all the previous year's papers, make a list of all the important questions which are repeated. Most of the questions are repeated with only a few changes in the numericals. Other questions are twisted. There may be 3 or 4 questions which are given in a different manner, and of course the answer will be the same. You have to make this important study. You have to study this. Write down these questions wherever you have written down the answers. You can remember the answer, you can recall the answer, and that is the target of this method. This method is very simple. Only thing that you have to implement this method correctly, thoroughly, perfectly, and you are going to get the best marks. Subscribe to my channel Poly Classes. Click on the bell icon. Keep watching, keep learning.